Hi everyone, I'm Nima and welcome to my channel. Today I'm starting a series where I share what I have learned about muscle anatomy and explain how these muscles affect the figures we draw. I hope these insights are also useful for your art. In each episode, we will look at multiple muscles or muscle groups, starting at the top of the body and working our way down. In part 1, we'll focus on the sternocleidomastoid, the pectoralis, and the trapezius muscle. Alright, let's dive right into the first muscle, the sternocleidomastoid. The sternocleidomastoid is a prominent muscle in the neck and plays a crucial role in the movement of the head and the neck. It has two muscular heads that originate from the sternum and the clavicle and attach to the mastoid process of the skull. When drawing the sternocleidomastoid in front view, we just follow what's shown in the 3D model. It begins at the upper neck and runs down to the clavicle in a nearly straight line. The first head is the most prominent, easily visible beneath the skin, and therefore the key feature to focus on when drawing. In contrast, the second head is subtle and hardly noticeable. In the 3/4 view, we draw the muscles similarly, but its wrap-around shape becomes more visible, just like this. For the side view, we start with the attachment of the muscle behind the ear. The exact height of the attachment varies from person to person, where the attachment to the clavicle and sternum remains consistent. And this covers everything you need to know about drawing the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Now, let's move on to the Pectoralis Major, or as most people call it, the pecs. It's the large muscle group in your chest that's responsible for movements like pushing, lifting and rotating your arm. This muscle starts at the clavicle, sternum and ribs, and it attaches to the humerus, your upper arm bone. Pectoralis is divided into 3 main heads, each with a unique starting point and function. The upper part is called clavicular head, and it begins at the front of the inner half of the clavicle. The middle part, and also the biggest part, is called the sternocostal head. It originates from the front of the sternum, the upper 6 ribs, and the sheet of connective tissue called the aponeurosis of the external oblique muscle. The lower part is called abdominal head, and it also starts at the aponeurosis. So, when drawing the pectoralis, a good way to approach it is by drawing each head separately and making sure to keep the attachment points in mind. Here, I start with the clavicular head, going from clavicle to humerus. Then continue with the sternocostal head, attaching it to the sternum, and adding the abdominal head here in the end. We just do the same for the other side. I'm starting with marking the attachment points here, adding the clavicular head, continuing with the sternocostal head, and finishing up with the abdominal head. We need to keep in mind that the muscle has volume. Especially the sternocostal head is divided into multiple strands. So when drawing or painting it, we need to consider this, but only if the person we're drawing is really muscled. As for normal people, these strands are usually not visible through the skin. For the 3/4 view, we basically do the same for the side facing us. I'm marking here the attachment points, adding the clavicular head, the sternocostal head, and finishing with the abdominal head. When drawing the side facing away from us, we just need to consider the perspective. Everything looks a little bit shorter. We might not even see the humerus attachment, and the muscle has a slight curvature as it follows the cage. Alright, let's talk about the trapezius muscle. This is one of the most noticeable muscles on the back, and it plays a major role in how we move our shoulders and support our posture. The trapezius is a large, flat muscle that stretches from the back of your head and upper spine all the way out to your shoulders. Think of it as having 3 parts: the upper, the middle and lower fibers. When drawing the trapezius in front view, we only need to draw the part that attaches to the clavicle. It wraps around from the back like this and attaches next to the sternocleidomastoid, and it's symmetrical on both sides. For the 3/4 view, we draw the outline of the muscle starting from behind the ear, as we are now able to see the attachment there. We follow the flow of the neck and attach it to the clavicle. For the side facing away from us, we only need to draw a tiny bit where the muscle attaches to the clavicle. Now to the interesting part. For the back view, we start to draw from behind the ears, right between the attachments of the sternocleidomastoid, then following the flow of the neck into the shoulders. And from the shoulders, we draw kind of an S curve as the trapezius wraps over the scapula to the end of the upper spine. And that wraps up part 1 of my muscle anatomy series. I hope you found this information helpful, and if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate a like and maybe let me know what you think of it in the comments. Subscribe if you don't want to miss the next part in the series. Stay tuned for the next episode, and thanks for watching.